How's it going, friends? Perry here with Unit Solutions, and for today's Quick Tip Tuesday, we're going to be discussing Workspace. All right, so our Workspace is going to be where we are working on the gun when we are manipulating it to get it back into the fight. So whether that is changing the magazine or working through a malfunction. So as I bring my gun back into my Workspace, I want the gun to stay forward on my eyes, meaning I want to be able to have my head up, my eyes are focused on the threat, and I'm not too low to where my eyes are off the threat, and now they're more focused on the mag well as I'm going to reload, but more on that in a minute. So as I bring my gun in, I want to cant it slightly so that the mag well is actually pointed towards where that new source of ammunition is going to be coming from. It's going to give me a nice, clear, direct path into the mag well. I can get back on target as quickly as possible. One thing to avoid, and I've seen this a lot on the ranges, I've done this a lot personally in the past, so if you happen to come up in frame before you hit that magazine release, there's a tendency for the magazine to get stuck. Now you're left here with a full magazine in your hand, and you got to do a shake or a wiggle just to get it out and get back on target. All right, so we also don't want to have our firearm right in front of our face. All right, first, this is going to cause a lot of distance to get back on target, and you would think from here to here versus here to here wouldn't matter too much, but when time is of the essence, that also means that it's more distance back to full extension, which also equates to more time to reacquire my sight or my dot. Secondly, it's harder for me to see around my weapon. That's going to hurt my situational awareness. I don't want to have to look through my gun just to get to the target. All right, and third, a lot of people would argue that in the middle of a gunfight, this is the universal signal for there's something wrong with my gun, right? Since my barrel is not pointed at the enemy, it gives them the signal that this might be the perfect time to strike because I am currently not operational. But just to see the difference from here to here, it's not going to be as drastic as a notification to my enemy that I'm in the middle of a reload or malfunction drill. All right, so just to reiterate, you want to have a slight bend in the elbow, a slight rotation with the firearm, creating a clear path to the mag well, and then we are back on target. All right, and lastly, going back to when we were talking about not having to be looking down when we are in our Workspace, one caveat to that is our Workspace is actually relative to the direction of where the enemy is. So if we happen to be shooting from an elevated position like this, and our enemy is below us, our Workspace would be down here. We don't want to have to come up to a quote-unquote normal position just to get our manipulation in. As it would also go for if we are shooting up into an elevated threat, our Workspace would now be up here. All right, that is all we have for you today. Join us next week when we talk about the different types of mag changes. We'll see you guys then.